confess, Father, I confess, 'cause I've been living wrong. I know.
And we back, y'all. We back. Time to get back to it. Time to get back to talking Falcons talk. Man, so excited. So excited today. Today is going to be an awesome day. Now I've got 10 things going off at once. Hilarious. Had to turn all that biz down. Had to turn all that biz down. That was pretty funny. Pretty funny. Okay, so Falcons Nest Live logo for all of y'all. Links down at the bottom for you to follow me on Facebook and Twitter and Twitch and Instagram and Snapchat and YouTube. Go hit that like button. Hit that subscribe. Make sure you're part of the notification nation, notification squad, so you guys can get in with us. Hit us up in the chat so we can hear you, so we can know what your complaints are. Because today we are talking about Vic Beasley. Is he the guy or is he not the guy? And this will be a good conversation. I think everyone in here is going to enjoy this conversation. And I'm going to, of course, in the middle of this, I'm trying to hit up all you guys on Facebook. Here we go. If I hadn't hit that link 100 times over, then I have. But I'll give y'all just a minute. I know you Falcons fans. It takes you a whole quarter to get in there. Takes you a whole quarter to get there. It's all right. I understand. I'm a Falcons fan. I see it every Sunday. We'll discuss that too, by the way, because that's the things that peeve me about Falcons fans, and I'm a Falcons fan, so this should be pretty good. Woo-wee. Woo-wee. All right, boys. All right, boys and girls. I was hoping that we'd already have some peeps in here, but it seems like everybody in here has just been they've been like, I don't know. I don't know about supporting my boy Dan, Lieutenant Dan. I don't know about supporting Lieutenant Dan. He's he talks some Falcons, but he showing up to his stuff. I don't know. But hey, man, I'm not here to hate. I'm here to let you know what's going on with those Falcons, man. And let's get into a couple things. We got a new Todd McShay mock draft. Like we get one every day. Every site on the internet gives us something. But let's look at this Todd McShay mock draft. I think it's pretty funny. And this Todd McShay mock draft, pretty funny, man. If you get into the chat, let me know. I can hit you up. But let's look at this. Let's look at this Falcons Todd McShay draft. It's so one day ago. It's right there, right in your face. Let's watch this. Let's look at this for just a second. I think this will be pretty funny. So, round one, McShay's like, yeah, here we go. Taco Charlton. I know plenty of people in here will be completely disappointed by Taco Charlton. And he goes, if you read it once, you probably read it 100 times by now. Atlanta's top priority is finding another edge rusher to pair with sack champion, woo, Vic Beasley. And he checks off all the boxes and blah, 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 other elements. Quinn loves quick versatility and defensive players. Von McClure, he says he loved to play for the Falcons and all this great stuff. And that's all fine and dandy. And I've noticed this with Falcons fans. I think I'm gonna kind of segue here. But I've noticed this with Falcons fans. That they yearn for the days of old. They yearn for the days of, hey, we want Vic back. Hey, we want Dunn back. Hey, where's Roddy? Hey, things were good when John Abraham was around. By the way, go follow us on Twitter, UNGR Podcast. Hit us up there. We can talk a little Falcons. I think that's something that we can all discuss a little bit. But Falcons fans yearn for the old age left defensive end who comes off. He's a big mauler, and he comes in there and he whoops butt. And I like to use a term from Vosh Lombardi. Go follow him on Twitter at Vosh Lombardi. And go follow his Facebook page, Lombardi's Draft Talk. You can go learn a little bit about the draft. But it's the old way of doing things with a little bit of ass whoop. And I don't hate that. I don't hate the old way of having a traditional left defensive end who comes off the edge, rushes, gets to the quarterback. But we're in a new age of football and a new age of Falcons football, to be honest with you. And I don't know about you guys, but when I hear that, well, and this is from 92.9 The Game, if that's their handle, 92.9 in Atlanta, and you hear it from some of the mock draft community, the draft nicks, the buzzards, to use a Matt Kelly analogy for the pundits. But you hear some talking heads, and those talking heads come out and they say all kinds of nonsense, and they give you this. Well, how would I say it? They give you this rendition of the Atlanta Falcons and how they should be playing when they don't know the system or scheme. So then they say, well, the Atlanta Falcons, Vic Beasley, which, by the way, sack champion Vic Beasley from last year. He's not the traditional defensive end, and he's not there in big moments, and so he's not the guy. And he needs to go back to playing outside linebacker. And I shake my head a little bit. And I go, okay, all right, so you're telling me that after being sack champion, and mind you, yes, it was during the regular season, but a guy that worked his tail off for 16 games, that you're going to tell me that he is not the guy. Okay, here, I'll go a step further. You know what? He's not the guy. Because there is no guy. There is no guy that magically comes out and whoops everybody's butt. Von Miller doesn't do it. Khalil Mack doesn't do it. Bud Dupree doesn't do it. DeMarcus Ware does not do it. Nobody just goes out on their own and for 16, 17, 18, 19 games whoops ass. There's no such thing. There's no such thing as one guy becoming the legend for that many games and just sacking every game. Justin Houston didn't do it. Justin Houston had the most sacks in league history, I believe, if that's the correct statistic. He didn't do it. Nobody has gone out and just flat out every game beaten up on NFL offensive lines. Nobody has week to week just been a monster. J.J. Watt doesn't do it. I will go down the list of guys that just don't do it. They might do it a couple times. They might do it more times than they don't. But I'll point to several games when the Houston Texans went to the playoffs. Where was J.J. Watt? I'm not talking about previously. I'm talking about before that. When the Broncos were in the playoffs, Von Miller disappeared in one of those games. He almost disappeared from the Super Bowl had it not been for the fact that the Panthers gifted him sacks. And let's not take away from Von Miller. Von Miller is a beast, and he got all those sacks clean. But he was given opportunities. And if gifted is too strong of a word, he was given opportunities to sack Cam Newton. And those opportunities, he capitalized on those opportunities. That's it. I hope nobody gets upset about that. So saying Vic Beasley's not the guy really gets under my skin because it's like, okay, since all of those guys can't do it by themselves, what are the other 10 guys on the field doing? Vic Beasley's not the guy that's going to get to the quarterback all the time. Well, I don't see the other guys getting to the quarterback all the time. This sounds like a biased. This sounds like trying to push a narrative. And I'm not here to push narratives, folks. I am just letting you know what Falcons fans, radio hosts, players, personnel, media who follow the Falcons, what they're saying. And it's people like the guys at 92.9 The Game that, they decide, hey, let's put out this narrative. And they've been very anti-Falcon anyway. Let's put out this narrative. Vic Beasley's not the guy. But there's some imaginary guy somewhere that's going to be the guy. More traditional left defensive end. And he's going to bring back the Abraham days. Abraham days. He's not coming back, folks. It's not going to happen. I'm sorry. By the way, Holiday Inn is one of my favorite movies of all time. If you haven't noticed already. That movie is boss. But we're not getting a traditional left defensive end anymore. Okay? Put it all out of your minds. And don't fall for the narrative that the traditional left defensive end is going to just show up. Okay? It's not going to happen. We're going to get a hybrid guy, a guy that can play a little inside, a guy who can play a little bit outside, and maybe even a guy that can play outside linebacker on the left-hand side, but can still come in and play defensive end. We're going to rotate many, many, many people. And if you don't agree with that, hit me up in the chat. Hit me up on Twitter. Hit me up on my Facebook. Hit me up on Instagram, Snapchat. I was going to try to fiddle around with the lines today to see if people could call in. And I'm starting to slowly but surely start looking at DBN and go, hey, man, where y'all at? I see likes. I see likes on my post. I don't see anybody coming in here. What's up with that? And it's time to branch out a little bit. Time to branch out. I see some people liking some stuff on Instagram. Right, you for the win. What's up, man? Rise up. How's it going? Talking to Vic Beasley. Talking a little bit of Vic Beasley. And how 92-9, I believe that's 92-9 the game. I've been saying it throughout the whole video, but 92-9 the game. You know, I'm glad you're doing well, man. I'm glad you're doing well. I want to make sure that all of my viewers are doing well during the day. So it's if they're having a bad day, you know, hey man, I hope my content makes it a little bit better. I hope so. If it does, good. If it doesn't, then I'm gonna redo the formula and we're gonna do this all over again. But hey, guys, look, we're not going back to a traditional left defensive end. I hope that everybody knows that. I hope all the regulars know that. The regular Falcons fans that go out there, I hope they know that. Oh boy. Well, let me finish this up really quick, right here, because I just want to get this point out of the way real quick. Is that we're not a traditional defense, guys. It's not going to happen, and the Atlanta Falcons are not going to be playing your dad's defense from the 70s, 60s. Okay, so that out of the way, I just want to say that saying Vic Beasley's not the man is almost discarding what the rest of the guys are doing on the field. Because he can't do it by himself. He's got to have help to be able to get those sacks. Some of those sacks were generated by Vic Beasley working and hustling and the other guys being able to get pressure and Vic getting the sack. It's what happens with Von Miller, happens with J.J. Watt, happens with a lot of those guys. So, Raichu wants me to elaborate on the opinion that McDowell is better than Garrett. And if that is the case, I'm going to do this real quick. Hopefully that changes. And if that does change in the video, then we have succeeded. Yes, we've succeeded. All right, cool. Okay, why is Malik McDowell better than Myles Garrett, out of Texas A&M? Okay. I think that the first thing that I look at with Malik McDowell is the fact that he can play 0. He can play 1. So he can play nose guard. He can play 1 tech. He can play 3 tech. He can play 5 tech. He can play 7 tech. And heck, if you wanted him to play 9 tech, it could happen. If that's what you wanted. Malik McDowell's versatility on the defensive line makes him a threat. And something that gives your team versatility versus what Myles Garrett can give you. And I'll explain the pros and cons for Myles Garrett, but let me explain the cons for McDowell. I see a little bit of gap integrity problem. I see some problems with Malik McDowell's gap integrity. Nothing that can't be coached, but definitely some problems now. He likes to go head first into things and sometimes he puts himself out of the play. So I'm not going to be biased here. I'm gonna give you the pros and cons for both. Now the other thing that I like about Malik McDowell and the other thing I don't like about Malik McDowell. McDowell has an arsenal of pass rush moves. But he seems to not be extremely fast. Quick is a different story. Fast is where I kind of give him a knock. So the adjustment from him going from the college level, the collegiate level, to the NFL is probably going to be a little jarring, but I believe he will still come out as a better option. And his versatility around the entire offensive line when you go and watch tape on Malik McDowell is hilarious. He plays, for Michigan State, he plays the 0. He plays in the 1. He plays in the 3. He plays in the 5. He plays on the stunts from the 5 or from the 3. He plays in the 7 all the way on the outside. He stands up. He puts his hands in the dirt. Now let's go over to Myles Garrett because I don't want to be biased and I want to say the pros and cons for Myles Garrett. Myles Garrett is the ultimate pass rusher in this draft. He is the ultimate left defensive end. If you put him on the right defensive end spot, I don't know how that would work because he didn't play very often on that side. But as a left defensive end, he is the best you could possibly get in this draft. Pass rush moves, check. Speed, check. Quickness, check. Vision, check. Pad level, hands on pad level, check. Hand battling, check. You can check the marks all the way down in every check box as you go down the paper. But the one thing that I think makes McDowell better than Garrett is his position versatility. Garrett will only be able to play left defensive end. He's not playing outside linebacker, not like a McDowell is going to play outside linebacker. Even though McDowell said on a live video that, yes, I believe that I can play any position on the field. But what Garrett is going to do is he's just going to be one position. I hope that's okay with those in the draft community, but he's going to be playing one position. That's it. I like McDowell for his position versatility. Garrett is the best left defensive end or edge player that you have in the draft and should go number 1 overall, period. I hope that explains, Raichu. I really hope that explains my thought process between McDowell and Garrett. Because if McDowell and Garrett are going to be sitting there, and they're both going to be sitting there with the first pick for the Browns, if I'm the Browns, I take Myles Garrett. Spoiler, that's the first pick in my draft coming up on Lombardi's Draft Talk. Spoiler alert. Myles Garrett is going number 1. Malik McDowell's system versatility on different positions as well. I don't think there's a system that McDowell can't play, and I don't think there's a position that McDowell can't play. I think there's just so much versatility. I just think it would also be extremely, what's the word I'm trying to use? I just believe that you would be thinking too short term. That's what I wanted to say. I think you would be talking too short term or thinking too short term if you don't take Myles Garrett at 1. You're thinking in the long term if you take Garrett at 1 because he still has some development that he needs to do. You can check all the boxes, but I would check half of them because it's not like that. Whereas Vic Beasley in 2015 when we drafted him, that was a different story. That was raw. That was as raw as you could possibly get. And thank you. I appreciate you telling me that I made sense. Sometimes I ramble a little bit. But that is where I put Garrett, and that's where I put McDowell. McDowell and Garrett, spoiler alert, might go to the same team in the draft. Just saying. Because I use a system, and I hope all of you guys will follow me on Twitter for this and hit the subscribe button. If you don't like this video, hit the thumbs down. If you like this video, hit the thumbs up. But go follow me on Twitter. I talk about it all the time. SARF, System Adjusted Round Fit. What is that? System Adjusted Round Fit is taking a team, what is their system, what is the biggest need that they have total. And then drafting, not based on the round, but drafting based on the system and the player fit. So and I hate BPA, and that's why I made that system a year ago, and it's worked wonders for me. But that's why the Browns would take Garrett at 1. Because they need a left defensive end, and they can kick one of their better players over into a natural position. And then as you go down the list, you continue to use system adjusted round fit, SARF. You use that to place guys in order, not from a top 50 board. Power rankings top 50 board where you mull a bunch of players in is ridiculous to me. I think it's hilarious. But maybe I'm the minority there, and I'm 50 boards and things like that are fun and educational. I don't think you get anything from 50 boards. It's just sometimes people put like their favorite players in 50 boards. You go, how is that player better than the other player? And you go, I don't know. You shrug and you go on. And if you have any questions for me in the chat, please let me know. I will answer them up. I will eat those up and I will answer them immediately. But yeah, that's my explanation of McDowell and Garrett. I think that with the upcoming mock drafting we're going to be doing on Lombardi's Draft Talk this coming week, you guys will get to see all of the picks in total and still writing up some explanations for some picks. Really love the Bears pick. That's going to blow some people's minds. Another really, really good pick is I think Buffalo gets a really awesome pick at, 10. Yes, I am planning to do a mock draft. I will be doing it with Vach Lombardi. Follow him on Twitter. Follow me on Twitter. And basically, I will be going through the first 32 picks. And that'll be it. And it's not going to be a draft that every single person is going to agree with. It's not going to be a draft that everybody's going to like. But it's going to be the draft that makes the most sense for the players going to their particular team. So in my mind, it's gonna be really, really, what's the word I'm looking for? It's gonna be really intuitive, and it's gonna make you think. So I like that side of mock drafting versus just let's do a mock draft, let's use a big board, 50 top 50 players big board, and let's put them in order. Yeah. That's why I have I actually in my mock draft coming up, and here's another spoiler really quick. I'm just dropping a couple spoilers. Jamal Adams drops. Drops way down. But Sarf doesn't lie, man. System adjusted round fit does not lie. Gives you the best player for your team and system, and addresses the biggest need on your team. And it will differ from person to person, because there will be some people that I believe that we need an offensive lineman, where my mock draft will give you a defensive end. And you'll go, and I'll just kind of wave you off and be like, okay, well, we have a different belief about what your team needs, but I look at your needs and what you've lost during the offseason and what you've gained during the offseason, and then what your draft needs are, and I utilize system adjusted round fit to give you the best player. So, in my opinion, that works very well, and I know a couple other guys that have used SARF, and it's worked well. There's no real number system to it. And if I did put a number system to it, people will be like, this is too confusing. I'm going to go back to just doing regular mock drafts. Because in SARF, you got to know everything about everybody's team. And you got to take a couple days break after you do one of these mocks. It's ridiculous. I'll also be doing some live, not live, but I'll be doing some video of the NFL draft coming up, and pick-by-pick reactions that will be really fun. Just probably about, 2-minute long videos for each pick. And it would be pretty cool. I'll talk a little bit about their pick and what makes sense and what doesn't, So, yeah, man. Yeah, I am, I'm going to be doing that mock draft this coming week. Vach is going to invite me on his show. And then talk a little bit about, before we start that draft, I think I'll just talk a little bit about what unintentional grounding is and see where we go from there. I tried tagging some people and getting them into this live stream, and seems like everybody was it's 6:30 on a Friday because everybody's all doing their thing. But yeah, man. So I said I was going to talk a little bit more about some Falcon stuff related to this video. So I'm going to switch this back over really quick. But if it was me, and I'm just saying, this is kind of my thought process with Atlanta. The Falcons can go several different ways, especially if Obi Melifonwu is still sitting there at 31. A guy like Malik McDowell somehow falls all the way down there. Taco Charlton can be a guy that they pick up. Not too favorable of Taco, but I will let it go. Derek Rivers would be everybody says that would be a reach type pick, kind of like Keanu Neal at 17 last year. But I believe that would fit our system the best. In fact, actually, I would take him at 31 in a heartbeat. And then there's a guy like Takk McKinley, who a lot of people were talking about, Panthers at 8, and if not at 8, maybe in the second round. The Panthers go kind of a different direction. But he has been linked to the Atlanta Falcons, he just got a Falcons tattoo. He got a Falcon wing on his shoulder, and a lot of people were like, "Whoa, what's this all about?" He's wearing a Panthers hat while he's visiting, but he has a fresh new tattoo on his inside of his right arm. It's like a Falcon's wing. Everybody's like, "Whoa." What's that all about? And sometimes people take things a little too, they look into them a little too much. But, oh, man. Takk McKinley, the UCLA linebacker / defensive end. It was pretty funny seeing him get a tattoo. It's a I believe it's a Falcons tattoo. It's pretty funny to look at and be like, And then a bunch of people jumped in. They're like, "Nah, it's an angel's wing." It's not an angel's wing. That is definitely not an angel's wing. That looks like a Falcon tattoo. Are you trying to tell me Atlanta Falcons, Takk McKinley, 31? I don't like it. I wouldn't die if Takk was a Falcon. I wouldn't be mad. I would be like, eh. It's definitely a Falcons tattoo. If you see the picture, you're just gonna be like, what is this all about? What's going on here? Trying to find it on Lombardi's Draft Talk and comment on it and bring it back to the front. Oh boy. Let's see here. Let's just bring this to the top. Search this group for Darian Collins. Oh man. Buddha would fit the system better, and you are correct, Raichu. I don't think you're wrong. I think you're actually hitting the nail right on the head. But the size tends to scare everyone off from Buddha. But there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with Buda Baker. Nothing wrong with that. I think Buda would be the hard hitting free safety, but I would be this close to saying that a better free safety is actually there's a CB. Here it is. Yeah, they say this is Angel Wing. This is totally not an Angel Wing. that is a Falcons tattoo. Oh boy. I had to look at that picture one more time. I looked at that picture. I was like, oh boy, here we go. It's a Falcons tattoo. It is a Falcons wing. That is ridiculous. He does seem to fit though, Buda Baker. Obi Melifonwu, he is Adoree Jackson is the guy that I look at as a free safety that would convert from corner to free safety. But then when you try to like convert a corner to free safety for our system, you might as well just go with Ricardo Allen, right? Because that would mean more. That would be easier for us. But Obi Melifonwu has the size fit, and system-wise, he's not a very good tackler, so that could be the reason why you kind of like stay away from Obi. Buda doesn't have the size that usually Dan Quinn is looking for, 6+. But he hits hard. He covers well. Yeah. So, yeah, we did. Yeah, we already did that with Allen. So that doesn't make any sense. But I mean, that's one way to go. As again, Kevin King is another example of a corner that used to play safety, free safety, mind you, and he's playing corner. He's probably going to go really high in the draft, but he probably should be playing free safety. He looks like a really good free safety cover guy. Very simple. And there's a couple other corners that I could see, especially even like some strong safeties that could convert to free safety. I like Kai Nakua actually in like the 5th and 6th round. Kai seems like a hard-hitting free safety. He's not very fast, though. So if you're looking for a free safety in this draft, you might be up the river without a paddle, or up the creek without a paddle is the correct terminology there. But it's not difficult to turn one of these guys into a free safety. It's difficult to turn them into an NFL free safety. And then you're looking at defensive end to complement Vic Beasley because Vic Beasley's already a really good pass rusher and a very good coverage outside linebacker. You can try to complement him and you go, well, by the time we get up there, Taco will probably be there. Let's see what Raichu's saying over here because I saw it come up and then I had to stop and read what you're saying. But I don't think we have to focus our efforts on that. And I know the biggest need last year was a strong safety, and we immediately went after that. The biggest need this year, what is that real need for Atlanta? Some people say free safety. I don't think that's a big deal. Some people say a defensive end to complement Vic Beasley. I think that's not too far off the track until you look at all the guys that we grabbed for the defensive line and guys that are returning. You go, well, then where's the playing time? You say right guard because we lost Chris Chester. Well, I say, we have Wes Schweitzer and we have Ben Garland. Both of those guys could at least make an effort to compete for right guard. So that may be the biggest position for us to go fill because it doesn't have a clear-cut guy coming in and starting. And you could say, a weak side linebacker or a strong side linebacker or linebacker in general when you get up to that point. You could say tight end, but tight end definitely doesn't need to be taken in round 1 because we already have 2 really good tight ends in Levine Toilolo and Austin Hooper. And then we have DJ and we have the other kid, and I can't remember his name. But you have plenty of sneaky good depth around the entire team, and you just kind of scratch your head. You're like, at 31, who do we take? And I've been advocating Dan Feeney for quite some time to be the Falcons' starting right guard. Perkins, thank you. Raichu is on it. Raichu's got that knowledge. He evolved with that stone. What's going on, Dirty Bird Nation? ATL Dirty Bird Nation. What's going on, man? Rise up. Good to see you, man. We are, I want to say we're not halfway, but we're pretty good into this video. We're talking a little bit about needs for the Atlanta Falcons and who you would take and stuff like that. Thunderstone. You evolved with a Thunderstone, right, you? Way to go. Though I probably would have just kept you a Pikachu because Pikachu is a little bit cooler. No offense, Raichu. But I'm not taking your pre-evolution. That's right. Pichu sucks. Get Pichu out of here. Yeah, man. Like where's the real need? Where's the real need? Free safety is not the biggest need, but you could take somebody to play free safety. Defensive end could be the second biggest need. If it wasn't for the fact that there weren't going to be a lot of gap integrity guys that Dan Quinn likes at 31. You'll probably find them in round 2. So it's really looking like you have like a depth problem. And it's not even really a problem, but you just need depth. Because you know in the next couple of years, you're probably going to lose a couple of guys. You will. You locked up corners, so you never have to go get another corner again. You know you need to get some O-line depth, right? You up there with that. We got to slap that with that O-line depth. But you got to get some O-line depth. Maybe 1 or 2 guys. I wouldn't mind Dorian Johnson, even though he plays left guard. But I'm the kind of guy that wouldn't be too mad if we went back-to-back offensive linemen. And some people will be like, what? You can't go back-to-back offensive linemen, especially in a defensive draft so talented as this. Well, I could. Because have you seen next year's draft? There's going to be some guys. But, I mean, are you going to protect Matt Ryan or not? Because right now you have a gaping hole, and Wes Schweitzer has to fix that gaping hole by himself. Ben Garland's not going to be the starting right guard. You know that. Everyone knows that. So it's all about seeing what you can get for the best price, not particularly what you think is the best player. He just needs to be the guy that fits the system the best, aka the Keanu Neal and Deion Jones picks that were both a round or 2 rounds earlier than what they were projected to go in. So anytime I see round projections, I just I roll my eyes. Sure, he's going to go in round 2. Sure, he's going to go around 4. Yeah, I think some team's going to jump up and take one of those guys. Funny. Oh, man. I need to stop using wrestling personas. Using broken Matt Hardy is probably a bad idea. It'll probably not go well with the videos. Delete. But no, man, like seriously, it's we just need to get depth. And so, DBN, ATL DBN. I'm gonna tell you something. You're going more D-line depth. But I'm looking at a D-line right now, and I would go, okay, are you taking that first round? When are these guys playing? Can you go into the second round or third round and get Davlin Tomlinson? Would you have to take Davlin Tomlinson in the second round? Or maybe would you have to take him in the first round? Can you get Derek Rivers? Can you go get Joe Mathis? Can you get a guy like Duke Riley to play linebacker? There's guys that fit the system and would go really well with what we do. But the problem is we're picking at 31. And not a lot of these guys are going to get playing time because we have so many defensive linemen right now. Start counting all the defensive linemen on a sheet of paper and you'll go, okay, where do I put people? You got Beasley, you got Brooks Reed, you got Poe. You got Grady Jarrett. You got Hageman. You got Shelby. You've got the guy from Dallas that we just picked up. You've got Claiborne. You've got a lot of guys there and not a lot of spots to play. Crawford, thank you. But you've got a lot of guys. And you don't have a lot of playing time. So do you get people from rounds 1, 2, 3, and 4 that are all going to kind of like get very minimal playing time and then really start next year? Joe is another name. Yes, very good. Joe Veliano. Do you get guys that are not going to start this year? And really they're going to get very limited playing time, very limited looks, and you're going to play the other guys? And then maybe they kind of slide into that slot and take over near the end of the year, and then you lose a lot of defensive linemen next year. We're going to lose Rashad Hageman next year. It's going to be pretty funny. People are going to freak out. They're going to be like, there goes another talent. I'm telling you, man. I'm banging my fist on the table. Rashad Hageman, people are going to miss him. People are going to go, Rashad Hageman, he was starting to develop. Now he's going to go to another team, and he's going to go and get sacks for another team. Dang it. And I'm going to laugh. I'm going to go, it's the power of Dan Quinn, man. It's the power of having a guy that develops talent. Isn't that crazy? Having a talent developer. Somebody that actually, not a Mike Smith, somebody that actually develops the talent. All right, I want to bring up this discussion point really quick, get off the draft for just a second. If you have any more questions, just hit me up with those. I am totally okay with answering any of your questions. It would be interesting to see him as a surprise cut this year. Kind of looking at Shelby as a cut this year. But I have to go look at cap numbers, make sure that it's not something that I would freak out. So next, I believe it's next Thursday, or this Thursday coming up. We've already passed. It's Friday. But let's look at the Falcons 2017 NFL schedule. And let's talk about some of the games that could be the molding. Yeah, I think maybe because of injuries. I think maybe because of just the way that the contract is structured. Actually, here. How about this? Where is it? Here we go. That's it. That's the one. That's that ticket. All right, so let's look at this really quick because I know you guys can't see it, but I'm gonna pull it up. I'm gonna look at over the cap. I'm gonna look at this cap number for Derek Shelby, and then we'll talk about Derek Shelby's cap number and what it means for if he gets cut this year. If it opens up some money, if it doesn't, let's see if this will open up. Here we go. Cool. So let's see. Derek Shelby is making $3 million this year. So let's see. He signed through 2019. And if he gets cut post June 1st, if he gets cut this year, post June 1st, we would have $1 million, about $1 million, $250,000 of dead money, and then we would save $3 million. So that's kind of the number you're looking at. Cap number you're looking at right now would be not so great. over the cap did one. Sporadic. Sportic. Let's look at Sportic, because usually we only have like, I think we only have a couple million left to play with. Let's see here. So Shelby making $3.75 million. Let's look at this contract, because I bet we can look at the contract and we can look at the dead money. Let's see here. He's making $3 million for this season. I'm just looking at see what we got. Dead cap would be $3.75 million. Let's see if we cut him here. Ooh, geesh. Okay, so we would have the post-release. It doesn't look like we would actually have any cap savings. We would just have dead cap for 2 years. 2017, 2018 would be dead cap years. 2017 would have $3 million in open cap. So we would have $3 million saved, but $1.25 million in dead cap. And then we'd have another $2.5 million in dead cap. And we can actually do better if we release him next year, which would be $4.5 million in freed up cap space with only $1.25 million in dead cap. So your potential out year, they're saying, is 2019. When you have $0 in dead cap, you have some dead cap in 2019, but you save $4.5 million. So that's money. That's money that we could afford Freeman, maybe. Just saying. But yeah, if you lose Shelby or you lose Hagman or you lose any of these guys, I like Sportrick's cap numbers they give you a lot more tools to play with. But yeah, Don Terry's a good signing. Tyson Jackson will be off of the cap 100%, I believe, coming up. So that will be gone. But let's talk about the Atlanta Falcons 2017 schedule, because I'm just going to look at this cap number really quick, because he's already been cut. We're going to save $5 million. I think we save $5 million next year or something like that. Something crazy. Something really ridiculous. Okay, so let's get to the schedule, which, by the way, releases next Thursday. I'm gonna do a live video next Thursday for those of you that want to watch the reveal, and we'll talk about the games. So definitely tell your friends and Falcons fam, that that's gonna happen. But okay, so we got the Buffalo Bills at home. And we got the Panthers at home, Cowboys at home, Packers at home, Dolphins at home. So not only do we play them August 14th, but we then play them at another time to be decided. So that will be interesting. We might be kind of looking at their guys, see who they want to put in there. And then Vikings at home, Saints, and Buccaneers at home. And then here are the ones out of town: Bears, Lions, Patriots, Jets, Seahawks, Saints, Buccaneers, Panthers. So, which game are you guys the most afraid of? Because I am not particularly afraid of any of these games. The Bills don't really discourage me. I feel like that's going to be a win for us. The Panthers in our house doesn't really discourage me. Cowboys probably one of the toughest tests we're going to face. How we're going to stop Ezekiel Elliott, Dak Prescott, those guys. Packers, we dealt with them once, twice, so let's try to deal with them a third time. I think we can do it. Dolphins is kind of a wonky game. I don't know how that's going to play, but it is at home. Vikings, another wonky game. You don't know who's going to be starting at quarterback. And then, of course, Saints and Bucks are always hard contested games. Then away, you're going to have the Panthers away, which I always count this as a loss for some reason. I guess it's just out of, it's in my nature to count this as a loss. The Bears away does not scare me at all. Their quarterback situation is Garbo. The Lions away does kind of worry me. We were in the Super Bowl. None of them should discourage me, but we're talking about regular season play and week to week and the grind and wonky things where a football bounces in the air and it hits somebody in the helmet and an interception and a pick six happens. And this is the stuff that goes through my head. We shouldn't lose too many games. Panthers usually I go, I don't know. Bears, we're gonna whoop their butts. Detroit Lions, kind of like an game. Patriots, I don't know when we're going to play them, but this will be like our in-season Super Bowl. We will want to beat them. We will want to screw up their ability to go to the playoffs. So a win against the Patriots is almost a must, and it's going to be a really, really good game. Away at the Saints, we beat them last time. I'm not worried. The Jets are a poo-poo team. We're going to beat them up. Seahawks away, they beat us on a wonky play. Okay, it happens. Whatever. Could be a loss, could be a win. I'm definitely going to be watching for when that game is. If it's early on in the season, we might be able to capitalize. If it's late in the season, it's going to mean a lot. And then we got Tampa, obviously. That's going to be neat. Very, very neat. Now, I don't know when we have Monday night games. I don't know when we have Thursday night game. I don't know when we have Sunday night games. But they're probably going to give it to us. And as a Super Bowl contender. So I'm not freaking out about it too much. But when I get all that information and I get that, I'm going to do a live stream video. And that way everybody can kind of come in here and do some stuff. I might have to head to Jacksonville to go see... I might have to head to Atlanta to go see the Jacksonville game. That'll be August 31st. That should be interesting. And then there's a game in Miami, and I live here in Orlando, so there's a game in Miami that could be pretty interesting. I might go down there as well. Miami Gardens, Florida. I don't know about the tolls, though. Tolls freak me out. The Bucks are just... Every one of those NFC South teams are going to be tough. And I'm going to go in the direction that the Bucks will be our biggest competition. The Saints are not going to be as bad. And the Panthers are not going to be as injured and as just... I can't even think of the word that they were just like anemic. They were just kind of drifting through the season like, oh man, can this end already? And so I think they'll be hungrier next year. I think the Saints will probably still be the bottom of the division though. Well, okay, this is what I was talking to a friend of mine with, we'll go about 2 or 3 more minutes. I was talking to a Saints fan yesterday, and he said, okay, at 12 or 11 or 12, whenever they pick, that they're thinking about Taco Charlton, whatever you say. And I'm like, if the Saints get Taco, that could be really good for them. And then he goes, at the end of the draft, on the first day, picking 32, whoever you don't pick up, we're probably going to pick. Offense, defense, wide receiver, tight end. And I go, well, then we have to pick the best guy that's there. And then I then I stuttered for a second. I looked back over at him and I go, doesn't matter who you pick. We're going to whoop them. And he goes, well, you guys better pick the best player there. And I was like, no, Sarf. You don't even. He's like, Sarf? What the heck is that? System adjusted round fit, man. We're going to get the best player regardless of the talent level. And he's going to be a star. Keanu O'Neal, Deion Jones, Vic Beasley. Yeah, I can quote on all of the guys that Dan Quinn has gotten. So, but the Saints could get better this year. It just they won't win as many games. They're gonna be better, but they just won't win that many games. Saints will win some games just because. Yeah, man, Sarf. Seriously, I need to put it on a t-shirt. That, or I need to rename it because that was the name that I gave it earlier this year. System adjusted round fit. Let me know if you guys feel like that's something that you would say, that you would be proud to have it on a t-shirt. Sarf. System adjusted round fit. Woo! All right, guys. So that was my show for today. I hope all of you guys enjoyed it. And for most of you, you will get my notifications on Twitter or on Facebook. Please like this video. If you didn't like this video, give it a thumbs down. If you wanted to comment in the comment section in there and give me some praise, I'd take it. I'll take all praise with a grain of salt, but I'll take it. And follow me on Twitter, man. At UNGR Podcast. I hope all of you guys follow me on Twitter. It's really an honor to be able to do these shows for you guys. I know an hour long is not good enough. I feel 30 minutes should be a show. But I like going an hour to give you all my information. So, but follow me on Twitter, follow me on Facebook, and of course follow me and become part of Notification Nation here on Unintentional Grounding YouTube. And you'll get all the updates and everything that I'm talking about, and everybody that I'm scouting throughout the year. And then as the season starts, I will shift from doing things on the podcast level and long shows like this to more Facebook and Twitter, because I feel like that's where I'll get more crowd. But if we do big shows, it'll be about big stuff. So, and don't worry, we'll be doing shows. So, all right, guys, peace out, grease out. Love you guys.
Yeah, I confess, Father, I confess, 'cause I've been living wrong.